Hi class, let's come to the topic on indices as well as surd. Before we do that, let's take a look at this particular column, which is on the law of indices. Please be reminded that you have to actually know the concept behind all these law of indices, which I'm not going to review. If you have difficulty, always recap to the left-hand side of the column itself. But rather, I'm going to jump into surd itself. What exactly are surds? Most of you will be able to tell me that surds are root terms. Okay? Surds are square root terms. In other words, for surds, they cannot be exactly expressed in a rational form. So, in other words, again, surds are irrational expressions. Meaning, they cannot be represented as a fraction. Okay? Now, the important thing about surd is there cannot be any root term at the denominator. Okay? If we do not want any denominator to be written in terms of root term, we must always rationalize. How do we rationalize a 1 over root 2? Okay, you will need to multiply by its conjugate. The conjugate of root 2 is just root 2 over root 2. Okay, now applying the concept, numerator multiplied by numerator, you will get root 2. Root 2 times root 2, you will just get 2. Alright, because root 2 times root 2 can be seen as 2 times 2 under the square root. And this is the square root of 4. So in other words, square root of 4, you will just get 2. Right, and this is done. You can leave it as this answer, or it can be also written this way as well. Both answers are acceptable. Okay, now this is the simple type. Move on to this part B. Take a look at this question. Likewise, there is a square root term at the denominator. We can't leave it in this form. So what do we need to do? We will need to rationalize by multiplying by its conjugate. This is a 3 plus root 2. Recall, what is the conjugate of 3 plus root 2? If your answer is 3 minus root 2, you are right. Okay? Numerator multiplied by numerator. Denominator multiplied by denominator. Notice this is the difference of square. Alright? So what we have over here is 3 square minus square root 2 bracket square. So in other words, this will be 3 minus root 2 over 9 minus 2, which is 7. Alright? This answer is good enough, but if you want to leave it in another form, you can also write it as 3 over 7 minus 1 over 7 root 2. Okay? Last but not least, what if we need to actually rationalize this particular fraction again? Similarly, we cannot leave the root term at the denominator. Alright? You will need to multiply by its conjugate. Square root 6 minus root 5. Its conjugate, instead of having a minus in the middle, would have a positive, or rather a plus sign in the middle. Simplify the expression. Numerator multiplied by numerator. Denominator multiplied by denominator. This is the difference of square again. So it's root 6 square minus root 5 square. So we have 6 minus 5, we have 1. And the answer, 3 root 6 plus 3 root 5. Final answer. Okay? That is in terms of rationalizing whatever fraction that you have where the root term is at the denominator. Please do something about it. Okay?